As you all know, Outcome Memories has been released for about 1 month now. And with that, we're nearing the second update. Now, you might be wondering, what is coming to the game and what new features will it be bringing? Well, in this video, we're going to go through everything that's going to be added in version 0.2. But before we begin, I want to say make sure to like and subscribe so you get more content like this. And let's begin with the characters that are coming in the next update. Now, if you haven't seen the news inside of Outcome Memories recently, you might find it was still only Kolossos, Tails Doll, Silver, and Blaze. But they're actually adding a third executioner, known as Fleetway Sonic. As you see by his design, he's a Super Sonic, and the reason why he looks like this is he's actually an official Sega character. Because for Fleetway Sonics, where basically instead of Super Sonic being the hero, the superpower kind of causes him to go crazy and turn into that monster. And we also have his complete rundown of how his moves feel, and I'll play a few of them right here. His first ability is Laser Beam, where literally he starts shooting laser beams that deal like 5 damage a second. This means if survivors are trying to snipe you like Tails or get farther away from you, you can start punishing them for that. His second ability is kind of like Sonic, where he turns into a spin dash, but this time he moves really fast while spin dashing, can practically fly, and does insane amounts of damage. He is definitely going to be one of the strongest executioners when it comes to straight raw power, and the fact that he can also fly. That's right, whenever he wants, just for a little while, he can just choose to fly around, so many survivors can't even hit him. Now, this might sound really strong, and for good reason, cause it is, but there's one major catch with this. As you see right here, he actually does have a health bar. Excluding End, he is technically the only EXE inside of the game that can actually lose by dying. Every time he gets stunned, he loses HP, and if he loses all 450, he dies or quote-unquote retreats and the match is over. But to help him with that, his third ability, other than his M1, allows him to grab a survivor close by and start draining HP from them. I'm pretty sure this heals him about 35 HP while dealing 35 damage to the survivors, so it's a really good way to give damage and also receive HP. He's also confirmed to be the most expensive killer inside of this update, so I'm assuming he'll be around 10,000 rings. But up next is a character we actually finally got a model for. This character is Tails Doll. Unlike all the other EXEs, Tails Doll technically takes the form of Tails, and you can see that it looks a lot different because it looks like a doll. Also inside of Outcome Memories, it is confirmed that you can call it Tails Doll, but its actual name is Tripwire. Now, as this time, we don't actually know many abilities, but we do know one of them. First ability looks like an entanglement or a snare, where if a three closest survivors get grabbed by like a rope and basically gets attached to the EXE. This can either work as an indicator, maybe gives damage to each character, or makes them slower. We don't know. But what we do know is this character will be able to fly. Of course, being Tails Doll, it can fly because practically it's just a doll attached to strings. And personally, I assume it will most likely do bleed damage as well for the fact that its claws are insanely large. She practically has machetes at the end of each one of her hands. This is also confirmed to be the only female EXE inside of the game. But now we're on to the final EXE being added in the update. The next EXE we're going to be talking about is my boy Kolossos. Kolossos in this game is practically just TD Kolossos. Instead of doing 65 damage, he does 55 damage with still 2 shots every single survivor except for Metal and Sonic. He also has an impalement ability where he starts running really fast and every survivor he hits with his arm gets impaled onto his arm dealing 25 damage and then he can smash him down at the end. Now if he uses this on not perfect and there's still fall damage when he comes out, that might be a very broken strategy. Also like TD, he has a grab ability where he's able to grab a survivor and start punching him in the face, basically doing 15 damage per and 5 damage per second as long as they're holding them. For being a complete rushdown, kind of like Fleetway, if you can catch a survivor off guard and alone, you can easily take them out. Of course, this comes with the downside that he is slower than normal EXE, because I mean, you kind of have to be, but with his dash ability, he is way faster than anything we've seen inside this game. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy can outrun Peel Out, cause literally, the speed is wild. And finally, for his last ability, he has Indicator, which I mean, kinda makes sense, cause how else are you supposed to see them? I mean, he is sonic.exe, but it's not like he has his invisibility powers anymore, since he turned into this freak of nature. And another one of the abilities he has, like the Disaster, is the block ability. Basically, if a survivor tries stunning them, I'm not sure if it works with long range attacks as well. If he clicks the block button, he either counters them or basically makes it so he doesn't get stunned. This might be interesting because certain characters like Sonic, if they try spin dashing, either will take damage, maybe even getting stunned themselves, or just physically not work. He will also be coming with a cosmetic of his TD design, which basically makes it so he has his other claw, because as you see inside of his model, his one hand is normal, the other one's a giant claw, but one of the designs is that one hand that's normal will actually be a claw. But with that, those are all free EXEs coming out in the version 0.2 update. But now we're on to the 2 survivors coming out next update. The first survivor coming out next update is Blaze. Right now, Blaze seems like a pretty decent character for the fact that her abilities not only stun, burn, and also knock back. His ability is called Roundhouse Kicks, where when she uses it, she dashes in the forward direction or wherever you're looking, and if it hits a killer, it does those 3 things. If you're wondering what the burn effect is, it's kind of like when we get hit by lightning on a hill, or kind of like Knuckles when he charges up his punch, where basically it slows down the character while the burn effect is still active. And if she uses this inside of the air, she can use it as a way to get a lot of momentum and gain height, because if she jumps while using it, she basically goes really high. Now, as of now, we don't really know what her second ability is, but if you look in the wiki, it says Flamethrower, so I assume it kind of means like Dimensional Coalescence Eggman, where basically you just start shooting flames. Go figure. But the things that are done for her is her character model, animations, and her own custom theme. But she also won't have any passives as I see of now. Unlike Sonic where he has the shield and stuff, she just basically is a normal survivor like the rest. But she probably will have a passive since every character in this game does. But now we're going on to the second survivor coming out in this update, which is Silver. As of now, I'm pretty sure Silver has a complete moveset. His first ability, basically he pulls 3 rocks out of the ground and he's able to chuck them at the EXE's direction, and their hitbox is pretty big. Every time it hits the EXE, it actually stuns them and knocks them back. Before, Silver was meant to be a support, but they decided to completely swap it up for him to being a survivalist slash stunner. His second ability is basically Shadow Step, where for 5 seconds when he's running forward, you can see clones of himself behind him basically, and once those 5 seconds are over or the sound animation ends, it sends you back to your original position. Let's just say you're on You Can't Run and you jump off from a high area while using this ability and the EXEs chase you. After 5 seconds, you get launched right back up to the area you were just at. Now, 2 ways this ability can get cancelled is if the EXE hits you while you're trying to use the ability, then it just ruins it. Or, if the EXE tries camping your initial location, you could just click the button and cancel the ability so you don't get screwed over. This makes him a really effective character for delaying the EXE for a long time, and the fact that he has 3 separate stuns make him really good. But there is one big caveat. His caveat is his passive for telekinesis. Kind of like Sonic, below his HP bar, instead of having a dodge meter, he has his telekinesis power meter. Basically how the telekinesis meter works is every time he uses one of his abilities, it slowly goes down. This means if you use your rock attack and hold your rocks for too long, it'll start draining over time, and then once you reach 0, you can't use your abilities until it charges up enough. The way it charges up is just over time, so you don't have to worry about using all of it since it will come back. And since Silver does have telekinesis, I assume that he'll most likely have a passive of either flying or gliding. The reason I say this is inside of 06, which is the game he comes from, he does have those abilities, so I assume it will drain his telekinesis power slowly, but he will be able to use those abilities. Also, his LMS is either finished or being worked on as we speak. I gotta say, it does sound pretty good, so make sure to check it out afterwards. But with all of the new characters out of the way, we still have a lot more content to go over. Next up is the maps coming out next update. 2 maps we do have confirmed for now, which is personally some of my favorites, is Hide and Seek Act 1 and Hide and Seek Act 2. Hide and Seek Act 1, if you play the original TD or don't know, is basically Sky Island, but completely on fire. The map will include the Master Emerald, since that's basically where it is, and the entire map will be on fire, and it looks really sick. As you see inside of the image, it's kind of like just a bigger, more scarier hill. And I'm assuming for the hazard on this map, since every map has its own hazard, is probably the fact that you could probably take burn damage or the entire forest starts burning down at the end. Something like that. Now for the second map that's going to be coming out next update, Hide and Seek Act 2, Hide and Seek Act 2 is actually inside of the cave. This means that it looks like it'll be most likely a close quarters map. So if you're not careful, you could probably easily get caught off guard. Also, for the hazards of this map, it says that rocks will actually fall from a roof. So either this will work as a way of trying to damage you, kind of like traps, or it'll block off certain areas. When this happens, we don't know, but it could be during the escape, or it could just be during the match. Me personally, I think the rocks are falling because of how loud Kolossos' laugh is. He is a whole mining hazard on his own. But for unconfirmed maps next update, we might be getting kind of fair. The reason I say this is it has been confirmed to be a map for a while now, but we haven't actually seen any progress updates on it. So as of right now, it's either coming out next update and we just haven't released anything for it, kind of like what happened with Tails Doll, or it's coming out inside version 0.3 alongside Majin Forest and Saloon. Now, during next update, we'll actually be getting some game modes inside of the main game. First one is Double Trouble. How Double Trouble works, instead of having 1 EXE and 7 survivors, it is instead swapped with 2 EXEs and 6 survivors. This means that the time is less, and the survivors will most likely also get an HP increase. So instead of having 100 HP, they might have something like 150. But I gotta say, for Outcome Memories, this might be a very difficult game mode for survivors. Even if you have more HP, the fact that 2 EXEs can easily gang on you, since invincibility frames aren't really that long inside of this game, is wild. Believe me, if you have a Tails doll and a Fleetway inside of this guy, it's like you're getting hit by 2 bombers. There is just no escaping from that. And as for other game modes, they have stated that there might be a Triple Trouble, which is way too broken. At that point, give every survivor 1000 HP and instant cooldowns. They would still lose in that way, by the way. And the amount of nasty combos that would go down in that is wild. There might also be teams mode, but right now, even if it gets added, I don't really know much about that, since I never really played team mode inside the original game. Now, if you've been inside the Discord recently, they have been talking a lot about third abilities. What this means is every survivor will be having a third ability. Now, if you're confused why I haven't mentioned it yet, is the fact that it's actually coming out in version 0.3. Even though we have seen the grapple for Metal Sonic, almost all the characters do not even have ideas for him yet, so it is completely unlikely and is guaranteed to come out in version 0.3. Though I gotta say, for a survivor sided game already, free abilities seem a bit obsessive. And of course, coming in 0.2, like most people are expecting, there will be a whole bunch of cosmetics for all the characters. I know Metal Sonic finally got 2 more cosmetics, but you know for a fact that Sonic almost has 100 and Metal Sonic got like 7, you know, maybe give him a little bit more, just saying. It's not like I'll play him, but you gotta give my guy some respect. But with that is everything we know coming out in version 0.2 for Outcome Memories. Now, I might have missed a few things, but those are all the significant parts. Of course, as you know, some maps might be getting slight reworks, but anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you all liked and enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.